Bills Mafia, what's going on? Before we dive into today's huge story, let me start with this. Your Buffalo Bills are pushing harder than ever to evolve, improve, and sharpen every detail as we head deeper into this AFC playoff race. Every player in that locker room knows the standard. They know what's expected, and they know that accountability, discipline, and effort have to be at an all-time high if this team wants to make a run. So right now, before we jump into the breaking news, do me one favor. Smash that like button, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss a piece of exclusive Bills coverage. Before we continue with today's Bills news, Cyber Monday is happening right now. Fanatics has up to 65% off on Bills gear, but today is the final day, and sizes are already disappearing. Link below, code CM25 at checkout. All right, let's get into the story. The Buffalo Bills didn't just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 13. They handled business. They corrected mistakes. They dominated the ground game. And they walked out of Acrisure Stadium with a convincing 26-7 win, keeping themselves steady in the AFC playoff race. But here's the part nobody saw coming. Josh Allen's biggest win didn't happen on the scoreboard. It happened at the podium. We all saw Allen break another NFL record, surpassing Cam Newton for the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in regular season history with 76. Just insane. Another chapter in what's turning into one of the most unique quarterback careers the league has ever seen. But what really hit the football world wasn't the TD record. It was the contrast between Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers. After the game, Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers quickly went viral, and not because he played well, but because of what he said afterwards. Rodgers, clearly frustrated, stepped to the podium and did what he's been known to do during tough losses. He pointed fingers. He called out teammates. He took issue with reporters' questions, and he sent a message that felt less like leadership and more like blame shifting. His quote hit social media instantly. Quote, "When there's film sessions, everyone shows up. When I check to a route, run the right route." That line exploded online. Fans debated it. Analysts questioned it. Former players weighed in on whether Rodgers crossed a line, especially after being dominated in a game where Pittsburgh never found rhythm. And while Rodgers was venting, criticizing, and calling out mistakes publicly, Josh Allen was doing the complete opposite. Bills Mafia knows this already, but every now and then, the NFL world needs a reminder. Josh Allen does not throw teammates under the bus. Not after wins, not after losses, not ever. Even when the Bills lose, even when it's not his fault, Allen steps up and puts the blame on himself. He shields teammates. He protects the locker room. He takes responsibility like a franchise QB should. And after the Bills' Week 13 win, Allen stayed true to who he is. No chest pumping, no pointing fingers, no "I carried the team," none of that. Instead, he praised the run game. He praised the defense. He praised the coaching staff. He highlighted team effort while Rodgers was highlighting mistakes. And that's why Bills Mafia loves him. That's why teammates rally around him. That's why number 17 is different from almost every quarterback in this league. Look, Bills fans had every right to come into this game with doubts. No Deion Dawkins, no Spencer Brown, new wide receiver rotations with Brandon Cooks added, and the sting of that Texans loss still fresh in the air. But the Bills showed up angry, focused, and prepared. Let's break down the key numbers. 144 rushing yards, 32 carries, 4.5 yards per carry. Led the team in receiving with 33 yards. He wasn't just productive, he was the heartbeat of the offense. The Bills racked up 249 rushing yards, the most by any visiting team ever at Acrisure Stadium, and the most allowed by a Steelers defense since 1975. That's not just winning, that's rewriting history. Buffalo held the ball for 42 minutes. Pittsburgh, just 18 minutes. You want to help a banged-up defense? That's how you do it. A unit that's been questioned all season stepped up and delivered. Just 166 total yards allowed, only 7 points, 2 second-half turnovers, and a scoop-and-score touchdown by Christian Benford. That's the type of defensive performance Bills fans have been waiting for. And it couldn't have come at a better time. Now, let's be real. The passing game wasn't pretty. Josh Allen, 15 for 23, 123 passing yards, only 4 completions to outside wide receivers. Longest pass, 16 yards. But context matters. You had heavy winds, both tackles out, and a game plan built around keeping Allen upright and minimizing risk. This was a win-ugly game, and honestly, the Bills executed the plan perfectly. Sometimes discipline means not forcing the ball. Sometimes leadership means trusting your teammates. Sometimes maturity means sticking to the script instead of chasing highlights. And Josh Allen did exactly that. What happened after the game is what truly separates these two quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer, used his platform to criticize, to point fingers, and to deflect. Josh Allen, a franchise cornerstone at age 28, used his platform to uplift the team, to praise effort, and to promote unity. Week 13 gave us a crystal-clear picture of who these quarterbacks are right now. Rodgers is frustrated. Allen is focused. One is dividing his locker room. The other is strengthening his locker room. One is running out of answers. The other is building momentum. The Bills looked flat. Mistakes were piling up. The Steelers were winning the field position battle, controlling the tempo, and playing the physical brand of football Mike Tomlin always leans on. At halftime, Buffalo trailed 7-3, and Bills fans everywhere were asking, "Where's the spark? Where's the energy? Who's going to step up?" Well, that answer arrived about 90 seconds into the second half, and his name is Christian Benford. The Pittsburgh opened the third quarter with the ball, but before their drive could even develop, Joey Bosa exploded off the edge and delivered a thunderous hit on Aaron Rodgers, forcing the ball loose. And who was there waiting? Christian Benford, perfectly positioned, scooping it up in stride. But he didn't just fall on it. He didn't just cover the ball. Benford took off, weaving, accelerating, and powering his way into the end zone for a defensive touchdown that flipped the entire momentum of the game. Bills Mafia, the energy shift was instant. The stadium fell silent. The Bills sideline erupted. And from that moment forward, Buffalo took full control. Rodgers had to be evaluated for injury after the hit, missing the next series. And that's where Benford struck again. On the very next drive, backup quarterback Mason Rudolph stepped onto the field. Pittsburgh tried to settle him in with a quick throw, but Benford read it like a textbook. He jumped the route, secured the interception, and once again gave Buffalo a massive swing in momentum. Now, look, both takeaways required awareness, instincts, and discipline. But as big as those turnovers were, they weren't the best part of Benford's day.
What truly defines this performance is something much more impressive and much more difficult. Bills fans, let's talk about DK Metcalf for a second, because this guy is a matchup nightmare. 6'4", 229 pounds, built like a linebacker, runs a 4.33 40-yard dash, one of the strongest receivers in football, one of the fastest receivers in football. There are maybe 3 or 4 corners in the entire NFL who can physically match up with him. And on Sunday, Christian Benford locked him up. Metcalf finished with 3 catches, 32 yards, 0 explosive plays. That's it. That's the list. Benford shattered him across the field. He stayed in phase. He challenged him at the catch point. He refused to let Metcalf get comfortable or build rhythm. This wasn't luck. This wasn't Rodgers was hurt. This was technique. This was discipline. This was pure lockdown corner football.